Guys, welcome back to another video. We have a super fun day here planned on the channel. I got a box in the mail, which is full of some inventory that we're gonna be able to sell here on eBay, so I'm really excited about that. Also, I still have a whole bunch of stuff to go through and get listed from last week, so we're gonna be working on some of that stuff, as well as just kind of going through the whole thing. We're also gonna be looking at a new accounting solution that we're setting up here for the store, as well as we have some items to ship out. So overall, pretty busy day. We're gonna just jump right into things here by getting all the items packed that we sold and get them shipped out, dropped off at the post office. Actually, real quick, I should mention that you guys should leave a big thumbs up on the video if you enjoy it, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and now let's get into that stuff. Okay, so here we are, guys. We have the items that are going out today, and we'll start off here with a whole bunch of loose games. This is all from the weekend, and unfortunately, we didn't have a great weekend for video game sales, but we did okay, so let's just go through them here. We've got Need for Speed The Run. We have Project Gotham Racing 4 for the Xbox. We've got Pure. Here's Forza Motorsport 4. I believe those were all to one buyer. Then we've got Karaoke Revolution and Karaoke Revolution. Again, that was Karaoke Revolution 3. So those are also to one buyer. So those two combined are going to one person. Then we've got Darksiders for the PlayStation 3. We've got Conflict Desert Storm for the PS2. We've got Siphon Filter Dark Mirror for the PS2. We've got Dance Central for the 360. Then we've got Monkey Ball Banana Blitz for the Wii. And that is everything for video games. Additionally, though, we do have a couple items sold in the other store, and those are stored in this dark rack back here. But this AT&T business phone sold, and you can see the price it sold for up on the screen. I was actually pretty happy with the price that we got on that guy right there. As well as we sold one of these white Xbox 360 remotes. I'm not sure which one yet, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it and get that all packed up. Anyway, with that all in mind, I'm going to go ahead now and start to pack these guys up, and then we can move on to what we're doing for today's video. Okay, so now that stuff is all dropped off, I wanted to break down this box that I just received in the mail. I have no idea what's in it, nor do I know how much I paid for it, but I believe it's a video game lot that I got on eBay. And regardless, once we get into it here, I'll throw a picture up on the screen of the correct one. Anyway, I gotta say right off the bat, this is a terrible idea to ship it in a box like this. Like, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter, but it's not very attractive. And at the same time, I think there's a lot of distractions going on here that could definitely distract the sender or the carrier from knowing, you know, who to send it to. Luckily, there weren't any other shipping labels on here, but you can see I've kind of butchered the labels that were on here, but they are not very noticeable at all. So anyway, regardless, it's a bit messy, but this is gonna do. It made it here. Also, the name, like the actual address, was really small in this, so I'm surprised it made it. But anyway, we got it now. People ask sometimes, how much do you think the packaging affects the feedback that you're going to receive on eBay? Which is a really good question. Personally, like, I would not leave negative feedback for bad packing unless it actually harmed the item. So for something like this, it made it here. What do I care? I don't care if they use this box, because, you know, as a customer, I just want my item inside. So assuming that everything is fine, you know, it's not a problem for me. It is a little bit, you know, frustrating to see this thing, because it's like, well, you could have done better and that could have caused a problem. But overall, I don't. But I do know other people that would leave bad feedback, potentially, for having, you know, really poor packing skills. So just something to note. I do understand, though, that not everybody has access to, you know, full boxes and shipping materials. Obviously, you know, people that are just part-time or just doing one or two listings trying to get rid of some stuff aren't going to have that. But still, I'll show you here what you could have done. What you probably could have done, this guy is taken it apart and then folded it inside out. Regardless, we're done talking about the packing material. Let's get into the lot and see what the heck we got in this box. Okay, so I'm going to throw a picture up on the screen right now, and that is a lot that we got. So let's go ahead here. I don't know what it is, but you guys do now. Let's see. What would recognize this? Oh, the PS4. Yes, I do know what this one is. Okay, this is a... I believe I paid like $70 or $80 for it. Again, you guys know that. But this is just a lot of some various different games. There's a couple things in here worth some decent money. The rest of it is just sort of but hey, let's take a look. We paid just over $2 a game. A little bit higher than I would have liked. But again, there's some good stuff in here, so I think we'll be able to make the money back in pretty quickly. First of all, some PS4 stuff. Okay, let's try that with some light now. There's some PS4 stuff, and now you guys can actually see what the heck it is. But you can see we've got Need for Speed, BioShock, Tom Clancy, and a couple of NHLs, all games that will sell pretty quickly, but, you know, nothing here is too crazy. I don't know what Need for Speed is going for, or BioShock. They could be worth a little bit, but otherwise, we just got some average stuff here. Okay, some Xbox stuff here. First of all, I did like this, because it had all the Dance Dance Revolution Ultra Mixes here, except for the first one, but I think I have that somewhere. We can make a good lot here, potentially. We also have Legends of the Rock, $10 game all day long, and Blitz for the Xbox. A little bit of Wii stuff. I like the variety. We've just got a few items here. I'm not sure, what is this? Oh, Wild Earth African Safari. Okay, probably not worth anything. But otherwise, you know, some decent stuff, I suppose. We'll probably be able to move this stuff relatively quickly. Oh yeah, I forgot how I had all of these. I really like this, actually. Guitar Hero 3 Legends of the Rock. Classic game, and it sells super well for me. 3 of them right here. That's going to be a solid $30. And then we've got FIFA on top. Okay, another good look at some
some things. Lots of Grand Theft Auto in here, which is always good. They do not sell for a whole bunch, but they are fast movers. So, you know, seeing all those is always exciting to me. SingStar Pop will also sell pretty quick. And these Naked Brother Band, I'll probably have to burn them because I don't think they'll be able to sell them regardless. That's what's in the PS2 stuff. Okay, moving on. We've got a couple Lego games here. They sell okay. Skylanders and then an NHL game. Again, we'll be able to move all this stuff. A couple weird loose games, but nothing too bad there. Crystal Kingdom, we just sold that. Mirror 2, I believe we actually sold relatively recently as well. So there we go. Oh, okay, I'm seeing this now. I think I know why I may have bought this a lot. There's a Rocksmith 2014 in there. I believe that's a $20 game. If I'm not, correct me down below, but I'm pretty certain that one is. Rock Band 2 is also not bad. And Guitar Hero World Tour, I think that's only about a $5 game, but still, between the three of those, there's some good money there. We've also got the Skylanders game here at the top, Skylanders Giants right below it. Then we've got Disney Infinity and a couple other random ones there. But that's a look at the entire lot, actually. And of course, plenty of free packing paper for me. And will you look at that? I managed to fit it all in one big stack here. But that's everything that came inside that box. Again, some pretty decent stuff. I think we'll be able to make our money back on it pretty quickly here. And, you know, just adding to that inventory stack, and we're going to be able to slowly but surely build our way closer to 1,000 with each one of these small lots that we keep getting in. So, very exciting stuff. But now let's turn over our attention to this stuff, which is what I'm actually going to try to get listed today, not all of it. I'm just going to try to do this little stack here because I don't want to spend all day doing it. I want to go and work on some accounting stuff today, which will be fun. Most of it will be off camera. Don't worry. I know people like click off the video when you hear that word, but trust me, I have some interesting concepts and ideas I want to just briefly share with you guys that could really help with your stores. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to go ahead now, try to get all of this stuff listed on eBay. And yeah, just the Xbox 360 stuff right there. Should be pretty quick. And then we'll go ahead and break down some really cool ways that you can improve your business with some eBay accounting stuff. So I think that'll be fun. Okay, so I just actually wrapped up with the testing of all of these games right here. And right off the bat, we have a couple problems. This one didn't have a game in it. And these ones, these cases here at the top, have the front covers in both of them, but they just don't have the plastic film that holds them in. So that's kind of useless. Anyway, I guess I will just sell those included and somehow include those inside the case or something along those lines. Anyway, so that's what we got here. And I'm going to go ahead now and photograph all of these games, then we can go ahead and get them all listed on eBay. Okay, just dropped up all the photos as you saw there, and now we're going to go ahead and get all these guys listed. Leave your guesses down below as to how much you think they'll all list for. I'm going to guess about 80 bucks. So that's my number right now. We'll see how close we get. I'm going to go ahead and get those done. Okay, so I just dropped up the listing for all of these games right here. And what was the total? What do you guys think it was? It actually turns out that my estimate was off. It was $111.80 for all these listings. I guessed around 80. So there we go. Not too bad at all. And overall, some really good stuff here. Hopefully it will move quickly. A couple games to look out for here. This Blacklist Area 51, don't see that one too often. It was almost a $10 game, so one to look out for sure. What else here? Moto GP 07 was also about a $7 game. That one kind of surprised me. I'm just trying to think if that was worth anything. I can't remember. Seeing it was actually worth $8. Didn't realize that. The rest of them is what you would expect. Mass Effect 2, I believe, is actually still worth about $7, and the rest, you know, is what it is. But regardless, we did some pretty good numbers here, and I'm excited to just wait and see how long it takes for the stuff to sell. And with that being put away, it's now time to go move on to the next part of today's video, which is some accounting stuff. So historically here, running the eBay store, accounting has always been a little bit messy for me. You see, I started this when I was pretty young and didn't have a great understanding about the fundamentals of accounting, and therefore it led me to have some pretty interesting different bookkeeping methods. For example, one of my first methods was actually going and taking a sheet of paper and writing out every single item that I had, how much I had paid for it, and how much I think I could sell it for. And that was the start, and eventually it sort of grew into adding in things like expenses and other purchases of new inventory, and every time that I sold something, I wrote it all down on a sheet of paper. I learned very quickly how inefficient that was, and eventually, about a year in, switched to a computer system. This one was very much so a basic inventory sheet, followed by a very brief transaction log that sort of just tracked everything that I was doing. I then moved on to a full-blown inventory sheet with a ton of different options and information and details about every single item that I was purchasing and selling, the amount that it was selling for, and the total amount that I was making. That one had lots of flaws too though, and I kept that one going until I moved down to the new office here, where I decided I was going to start storing things by bin numbers. That's also when I had finished some accounting courses and learned a ton about doing different sorts of accounting,
And I learned that, you know, you had to keep your accounting separate from your inventory. Your inventory really has nothing to do with your actual accounting and bookkeeping. I mean, it does, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, real simple, I created a new inventory system separate from an accounting system, which then featured, you know, a general ledger and a journal and T accounts and all the fun stuff that you get within a proper accounting system. I was able to stick with the bookkeeping or accounting side of things for quite a while and actually still use it up to this day, but the inventory system had to change. I learned very quickly how inefficient it is to track every single individual item that's moving in and out of your store and track when they sell or when they arrive and try to track them by name or any other sort of specification. So I learned about a few different inventory systems that some wholesalers use and other businesses to track their inventory. And I was quite fascinated by what I learned. I should mention real quick that I'm not a CPA and you should always check with one before taking any accounting advice, especially from a kid on the internet. But here's what I learned. There are periodic and perpetual inventory systems. And in short, periodic is essentially just when you do an inventory count for a certain period of time and you check how much inventory you have based on whatever you started with plus any purchases that you made minus what sold would equal your ending inventory. And then what sold becomes your cost of goods sold for that period, and it's real simple. Now another way to do it is where you have a perpetual inventory system which tracks live where your inventory is, if it's being sold, and it actually tracks a lot more data. However, running a small business and especially an eBay store, unless you're willing to pay up for the software that does that, you're probably not aiming for that way. So those are the general ideas, but there's also things that you can use within each system that help track the actual cost of your inventory that you're selling. And that's where when you're doing stuff almost wholesale like what we're doing here, where we're buying a ton of different video games, but we're buying them all for different prices, you kind of have to figure out, okay, well, if I sold one and I don't want to track which specific one sold, how do I know what the item that I sold cost me? And that's where you break into things like FIFO and LIFO and average cost and specific identification. There's plenty of different ways to track inventory. Specific identification would have been probably what a lot of you guys are doing if you're actually writing out each item and tracking how much it costs you and how much you're selling it for. And that's what I was doing when I started out, but I've since switched to the FIFO system, which allows me to basically track first in, first out, which basically means that whichever items I get in first are the first ones that go out. And I can break down in another whole video how the system actually works. In fact, if you guys want to see that, let me know and I can show you guys how to do an in-depth inventory system for this many items. These systems work really well if your average cost for one SKU is around the same, and if you have multiple different SKUs, then you probably need multiple different FIFO systems for each one, and it gets a little bit confusing. Most of the time, the periodic system of just checking every period, a count of what you started with, what you're able to buy, minus whatever you had left at the end of the month, will give you a valid cost of goods sold that you can use for tax purposes. But if you wanted to go a little more in depth, that's what I do, and again, I can make a video about it. Anyway, that's how I track my inventory now, and I won't go on too much more about that, but let's talk more about the bookkeeping and accounting side. How do I do my income statements, my balance sheets? How do I track all my expenses? Well, historically now I've been doing it all on different spreadsheets. I use, Google Sheets, Apple Sheets, or I'll be using Excel, and I'll be tracking different things. I'll make my accounts on there, and I was doing it in a very manual way, which was very time consuming. Then of course, when year end comes around, it's a kind of a mess or a hassle to go ahead and try to collect all the data and make sure that it's all right when you're trying to file for taxes. So the new thing that I'm going to try out is I am switching over to a financial application. I was thinking about using QuickBooks and those kind, but I really don't want to pay them monthly just to have them basically do what I'm doing for free on a spreadsheet. So I'm trying out a bookkeeping app called Wave right now. It seems pretty cool. It's again allows you to create all the different accounts. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them at all, so this is just me simply trying it out and seeing if it works. And I'm going to try it out and let you guys know what I think. But overall, I definitely could do quite a few videos breaking down the different accounting systems that I put in place, trying to optimize my time here, because again, any time spent doing anything other than listing is really just not making me any money. So I had to be very careful with how much time I allocate to those activities. But anyway, that's all I wanted to mention was I'm trying out a new bookkeeping app finally, and we're gonna see if it works. And if it doesn't, then I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I might do a mixture of both, which is actually likely what I will end up doing. But anyway, it should still be interesting. And that's enough rambling for one day. I hope you guys were able to find some little value in that. And again, if you guys want me to break down any of those things I mentioned in specific, have their own videos, I'm happy to do so, even if they only get a few views. If I can help out any of you guys with actually building your inventory systems or your financial systems, that would be great. And I always kind of have some enjoyment in doing so. With that said, though, I am going to wrap up today's video here. Again, if you guys enjoyed it, be sure to let me know. Let me maybe know down below in the comments maybe what financial systems you're using or what inventory systems, how you go about tracking all that stuff. I'm always interested to hear that, as well as anything else that you saw about this video, any comments that you may have. Of course, that's the place where you want to leave them. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you guys all in the next video.